Hello everybody, my name is Garrett and I'm here to talk to you about the Little Book of Common Sense Investing, the only way to guarantee your fair share of stock market returns, written by John C. Bogle. So why was this book made, might you ask? What was the purpose? Well, the purpose of this book was to educate investors for better investment decision making, a better solution compared to just buying and traditionally holding a stock like most investors do. It was written by John C. Bogle, who was the founder of the Vanguard Group. The Vanguard Group is one of the most powerful investment companies in the world and the most successful. So it's coming from a person who has experience in the industry and knows what he's talking about. Also, it's made to educate investors on different investment vehicles such as mutual funds, dividends, index funds, various products that can earn you more with less risk. So it's very valuable for all investors. Now let's get into the key insights I found from this book. So what's the first insight I got from this book? Well, the first insight I received was all about mutual funds. Mr. Bogle states that mutual funds is essentially like buying a stock or buying a basket full of stocks managed by portfolio managers at financial institutions. This is great diversity for investors, but investors don't have any control over their money. They got to pay fees to manage the fund to the fund managers, and they have to rely on other people's decision making to earn a profit. I mean, for example, if you want a diverse technology company that has, things like Apple, Google, stuff like that, you can invest in a mutual fund that has that, but the fund managers could get rid of that, could get rid of those stocks that made you want to invest in the first place the next day, and you don't have any control over that, and they're using your money to invest it with something else. So this is kind of the risk you take with mutual funds. It's a great diversity, it's a great diverse path for investors, but at the end of the day, you have very little control of your money. And that's why I don't think this is the best product, but it's one of the products mentioned in the book. The second insight I received from this book was all about dividends and the importance of reinvesting in dividends. Mr. Bogle states that dividends are a payout from corporate. It's a payout of the corporate profits essentially to the shareholders just for holding the stock. So if you hold a stock with a 5% dividend, you will earn 5% of your investment in that stock. Something like this is great for wealthy investors because it allows them to earn a percentage of their large sums of money that they throw into these companies. But the dividends is great, but the importance when it comes to dividends is that you reinvest it. And Mr. Bogle states this heavily. There's a drastic difference compared to a person that doesn't reinvest their dividends compared to someone who does reinvest their dividends. And I included that in the chart below, for example. This is an S&P 500 chart, and it shows the importance and the price value of the dividends reinvested versus not reinvested. Not reinvested, it looks around, they got $500,000. Reinvested, they're upwards of 2 million, for example. And that's just the S&P 500. That's something very basic. So reinvesting your dividends is very rewarding. And Bogle teaches us that reinvested dividends can earn more money for investors compared to holding the dividend and investing it elsewhere in other companies with that little sum of money. The compounding dividend interest is very rewarding for the investors, and Mr. Bogle makes that very clear. Now onto my third insight I received from this book, and the third insight is actually the reason why this book was made. It's made to educate people about index funds compared to mutual funds and all these other investment products to realize this is the safest option. And really, it is the safest and most rewarding investment product in my opinion. I mean, for example, in that chart, you could see the difference between an index fund and an average fund. An average fund meaning, the traditional mutual fund. The investor earns almost double the amount just by investing in index funds. Index funds aren't controlled by one singular portfolio manager. It depends on the whole index. So, for example, if you invest in the S&P 500 index fund, then you're only going to get companies that are within the S&P 500. You aren't going to get companies that some portfolio manager thinks is amazing. You're going to get companies that are in fact amazing and are in the S&P 500. So this is very rewarding. Not to mention, it also comes with a lot less fees compared to a regular mutual fund. A mutual fund takes more advantage of investors just through the fees compared to just a traditional index fund, which is something that's also crazy. So basically, in total, at the end of the day, index funds give you more, they're more rewarding, you pay less fees, and it's a lot more safe. So what are my closing thoughts on this book, might you ask? Well, the Little Book of Common Sense Investing, I feel, was one of the best books I think I've ever read. And, I'm saying this because it outlined the rules and success and how powerful companies and corporations like the Vanguard Group, for example, became so powerful on the stock market today. I mean, it's even endorsed by famous investors and powerful investors like Warren Buffett, for example. I mean, this book is the guideline. It contains rules, secrets, and strategies for success in the stock market. I mean, can you ask for anything better? Like, we're making more money here just by reading this book compared to just buying and holding stocks. So I think this book is life-changing for anyone interested in investing or is an investor, and I highly recommend this to everyone. So that about wraps up my presentation. Thank you for listening, and I hope you have a great day.